question from the audience. Richard Winger on Ballot Access News. Do you favor changing the top two primary system established by Prop 14?
You know, that has become, I've never liked that system and still don't. Okay. And let me tell you why. I think it disenfranchises the small parties, you know, and I realized that when I was running that, the only time a Peace and Freedom Party or Green Party person or whomever would actually run would be if there was no one running against me, and they would wait right to the end, and then they would jump in as a write-in candidate. And I couldn't figure out why initially. And then I realized that's the only way that they're going to actually get on the ballot. Right. Because if it's a Democrat, Republican, and then there's a Green Party, the Green Party is never going to get on the ballot. And so we have really taken away the opportunity for the other voices to actually be a part of the general election. And so in looking at it, and most folks didn't think about that when it happened, that you're making it impossible for these other parties, other than the two main parties, to actually ever be voted by the public itself, who might choose one of those. And so I think it disenfranchises those other parties, those other voices, because when you have two major parties always on the ballot, if you notice, you don't get these other people on the ballot at all. Yeah. You know, it's just Democrat, Republican, where before, at least in the other primaries, they had their primaries, they had their candidate, and when it came down to vote, we could actually see the other candidates and the other parties, and their voices were heard, and they attended forums, and they were part of the discussions, and at least if they didn't win, at least their ideas were included in the conversation. And right now they're not. Yeah.
And it would take another vote by the people to change that.
And interestingly enough, those who got the law in, and I've talked to some of them, realized that it didn't change much in terms of outcome.
Yep.
Okay, we're still getting those people, and the only people who really benefited from it were people who run campaigns.
Interesting. Isn't that something?
And they're making buku money, because if it's two Dems running against each other in a Democratic area, a lot of money is spent. If it's a Dem and a Republican running in a predominantly Democratic area, you're not going to spend as much money in that election. So they resolved, when they honestly said to me, the only people we see now who benefited from it were those who actually run the elections and write all the brochures and the materials and the consultants, and not the citizens of California.
Thank you.